Hey guys, welcome to the Cheryl Show. I am going live today to tell you about 5 minutes of background on why I have Tessa Bauer coming on live with me today. Hey Jorge. So 5-minute background before I introduce Tessa Bauer. I'll just go right into it. Even though the title of this live stream is What Experts Want You to Know About Plant-Based Medicine, my title is I Got 99 Problems and Age Isn't One of them. Because that's about how many problems I had going on when I had this reality check of what am I doing? And that was about April of 2018. But anyway, real quick, I've always been a health nut. And on that note, I've always been an extremist health nut. So I literally will take things to the end of the earth extreme, and then I will learn, and then I will adjust. But one of the things was bodybuilding. And just a real quick, because I got so many messages yesterday when I posted the thing about bodybuilding, is I started bodybuilding in 2012, right when they did away with the big, huge, muscular women's bodybuilding category. They did away with it because people didn't want to look at it anymore, and so they created this new category in 2012 called bikini bodybuilding. And so even though every girl wears a bikini that gets on stage, this is a specific category. The muscularity from top to bottom. It's got to be more feminine. You got to be super muscular at the same time. Hey, Seth. And Tessa's on, Bruce, Thomas Clem. And so I actually did a podcast this morning detailing every single thing from the beginning that I'm going to put out because I can't even begin to go into it. And I've slowly done that over the years. But one of the things that happened is that from 2012 to 2016, my goal was to go pro. And then when I did, everything just got more serious. The supplements, the restricting of the food, the time commitment in the gym, the lifestyle, the saying no to everything, people only know and see you when you go somewhere to go do a show. Otherwise, you never see anyone because you're basically in the gym or working. And part of this is supplements. You can't possibly get in your body what you really truly need to be healthy, even though we call it like it's healthy bodybuilding. I have nothing negative against bodybuilding. It was the most amazing thing in the world. It still is. You have to choose to do it healthy. And to do that means you just might not win. That's okay. But along the way of getting more extreme and more professional and more into the smaller category of people where there's literally only like a couple hundred girls in the entire world that they're choosing between instead of 10,000 is supplements. And so so I'm going to admit a couple things here. For a while, and coaches will tell you to get this stuff and then you got to do your research, and I did my research and I still chose to take it because I had my mindset was like obsessive, right? And it's not like always obsessive, but I wanted to get to my goal and I was almost there. And it required that I take things that were not illegal. There's plenty out there that's not illegal that'll still ruin your body. And but what it did say at the bottom of the bottle before I introduced Tess was it said not for human consumption. And I remember getting and reading it and looking and researching reviews and literally calling people and watching videos and saying like, so it says this, what's your reaction, or what's this? I did my research and chose to do it anyway. And I can't say there's nothing that I can't reverse. There's nothing. It just hardened muscles, build muscles, like want muscle in 30 days. There's something out there that does it. You want to eat cheeseburgers and still lose weight? There's something out there that does it. But what is it doing to your body, So by finding Tessa, before I'm going to get ready to bring her on right now, she specializes in health and wealth education, and specifically a lot about gut health and supplements and label reading synthetics, the soil our food is grown in, probiotics, and like everything in between. So let me go ahead and bring her on, and then we can get into the serious stuff. Let me just change one thing. Oops,
Hi, Cheryl.
there you are. Okay, great.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds good.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and share everything with everyone.
Yeah, and so where do you live right now? Where are you living?
I'm in Redondo Beach, California.
Oh, okay, so hello, Cali.
Yes. Love it here by the beach. It's awesome.
Yeah. And so you were telling me before we got on that you've been doing this health and wealth educating people for like 10 years. You've been in the health industry, specifically like 17 years.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I actually graduated with a bachelor's degree in fitness and leisure management, and then just have always been interested in health and, you know, educating and just what the body can do with when giving the right nutrients.
Awesome. So one of the things that we've talked about a lot is the gut health, because I've done actually some live casts about that, because I don't think people take it. Basically, it's like it's kind of a gross word. When I first heard it, I'm like, God, can you find a better word for it? But basically, every single thing we're putting in our body, including supplements, and what it's doing. So what can you enlighten us on gut health?
Well, there's several things. I don't even know where to start because there's so many things to cover. But basically, a lot of us need to learn how to read labels. There is just an easy kind of a way out there with just looking at what your vitamin C, because that seems to be a very popular one. Vitamin C is, you know, it's usually synthetic. You can tell by where you bought it. And then also with, you know, if it says ascorbic acid, that is super important because that is a synthetic, and our bodies don't recognize synthetic. It'll actually probably pull more vitamin C from your hair, nails, and skin than it will actually supplement you. So the milligrams that doctors tell you to take and things like that just really don't, they're really not absorbed much into your system. So that's a good way to start. And then also, you know, where it's manufactured, and you know, if it's manufactured in a different facility that, you know, deals with milk or shellfish or you know, different things like that. A lot of people are allergic to that, and so it can cause a lot of disruption with your gut health, and also just not be very beneficial. So your gut is your second brain. Most of us don't know that. It has to basically, you know, your immune system starts from there. It helps, it deals with a lot of brain function. They're linking it to a lot of mental disorders. So with our gut being our second brain, keeping it healthy is very, very important. And we're supposed to have at least 3 pounds of gut flora, of good bacteria in our gut, and most of us don't. So, you know, a lot of times when we don't have good gut flora, then it comes out in our skin, you know, balding, disease, of course. There's just so many things that are linked back to gut health, and it's so important to keep it healthy.
That pretty much is a lot of, reiterating a lot of what I was talking about when I did like a Dr. Gundry episode. How if you flipped your stomach inside out, that's what, like, your skin would, you know, how healthy is your skin? How healthy is your skin? Okay, well, so anyway.
Yeah. That shows a lot for sure. Because your complexion will change. We've had people's eyesights change, you know, just for the better. Just cleaning up the blood is super important. And then the probiotics and stuff. So we kind of relate it back to, say your gut has you know, parking spots in it, and if it's all filled with bad bacteria, then there's no place for the good bacteria to park. So that's going to throw off everything, your immunity, your digestion, your brain function. Like it throws off your whole your whole well-being. So
You know, it's interesting because one of the things that I, well, we all in the group that I affiliate with or have been, and especially with bodybuilding, we always knew how to strip the bacteria out with foods, but we didn't think about the foods we needed to eat to actually repair, like
right.
the lining. We knew, okay, how do we get everything out? Because it was like that was our goal, right? But we didn't really think about how to repair it. And that's kind of some of the things that the company that you work for or whatever offers some of that.
Yes, for sure. So we, I mean, unless you're going to change over to a raw food diet, which most of us probably are not going to do, then we try to teach people at least add 50% raw to their meal. Like if you're going to have eggs, put some avocado on it, or, just put some raw vegetables on your plate with your sandwich, things like that. So because live food it is, breathes life. So when you see something that has, like you take a bite of a banana or an apple, or even if you let it sit on the counter, what does it do? It turns brown, correct?
Yeah.
Those are the enzymes in it breaking itself down. But it's not going to be enough to break the cooked or processed food that you've eaten down into the molecular structure and the amino acids that your body is looking for. So that is so important to at least try to do 50-50 if you're not going to, try to do at least more raw, but that will keep your gut healthy, your skin healthy, all different aspects of, your whole well-being and stuff. So with the digestive enzymes, I want to actually show you a demonstration with the enzymes that I was shown or introduced to about 17 years ago, and I'll kind of give you a little background on that. I was introduced to a friend, Sean Loomer, probably about 17, 18 years ago, and then later his now wife, Tylene Loomer, and they told me the importance of whole food nutrition, plant-based medicine, things like that. And it was all kind of new to me. I mean, I always was into nutrition and things like that, but you know how things evolve and we figure out things. But I was kind of having some bad health. I had some stomach issues, digestive issues. I also had some pain in my left hand. I grew up in Nebraska and eating a lot of protein. So just kind of had, the undigested food going into my system and things like that. And Tylene actually did a live blood culture for me. And she's like, are you prone to diabetes? And I said, no. She's like, does it run in your family? And I said, no, it doesn't. She's like, well, you have these black blobs in your blood. And I was like, okay, what's that mean? And she goes, that's your undigested sugar going into your system, and your blood is, or your digestion system is not able to break down the sugars. So a lot of times that leads to a lot of different diseases. And we all kind of know what that relates back to. But after I started, and I was actually eating a lot of cookies and candy at the time because it was Christmas. My mom had just sent it to me. And so that relates back because I don't normally eat a lot of sugar. It was the holidays celebrating. So after I started taking the digestive enzymes, and we also have a daily supply of probiotics in the supplement, and it went away. I had my blood tested later and they were gone. I also didn't have any more stomach or digestion issues. The pain in my left hand started going away. It was crazy to me. So the pain in my hand, I relate back to being from Nebraska and eating a lot of meat, the undigested proteins, because, you see a lot of people have, arthritis and gout and things like that related to that, not breaking down your proteins. Because if you actually look at it in a live blood culture, it looks like broken shards of glass in it. And it's really interesting, and that is pushed to your extremities and settles in your joints. So when you're unable to digest your proteins, you're lacking the enzyme protease. And that is very important to break down because, we're always taught, especially you, I'm sure, taught to eat a lot of protein while you were bodybuilding, correct?
Yeah. So you're saying that the I do have some friends with gout that have never been able to get rid of it, but you're saying that is actually because of leftover proteins?
Yeah, your inability or lack of being able to digest your proteins. Because we have a bank of enzymes called in our pancreas, and we actually are depleted every 10 years, about 10% of our ability to break down our foods. So that's why you see a lot of older people on blood thinners, eating soft food, because they've lost their ability to break down their foods. So what we're trying to do is supplement our enzymes because they can't be replaced, to supplement them and just preserve them, because what happens when those digestive enzymes are gone, then people become lactose intolerant. They're missing the enzyme lactase. They get diabetes. There's just a whole flood of different diseases that come in when we're not able to break down our food and be able to absorb it. And then it goes into our blood, so it gives us dirty blood. And so this actually, if you even take them on an empty stomach, or right before bed, they'll actually go in, like it'll look like kind of Pac-Man, cleaning up the blood in your system, which is really interesting because you're able to see about 30 different diseases with a live blood culture, which was really trippy to me. So.
That is amazing. One of the things actually when I stopped having, so one of the problems I had, and then I ended up going to Titan Medical and getting under doctor supervision, getting blood work done, getting every single thing in my body looked at. But before I did that, I would have issues where, yes, we were eating a lot of protein. And I mean, this isn't anything I really ever shared with anyone, but there would be days, not days in a row, but there would be days that I would get up like normal. And then within 15 minutes, I would be like back on some kind of couch in a fetal position for like 10 hours. Because that day, for whatever reason, my stomach couldn't handle whatever I had been eating for like days in a row. And so then they're like, okay, you need to go get with a doctor. And so not just like your primary practitioner. And so ended up getting with Titan Medical out of Tampa, Florida, and did the blood work, and they ended up putting me on probiotics and they didn't really, I don't remember it being called stomach, it was enzymes. It was a form of enzymes, and it did fix my issue of eating where other girls were throwing up after eating their next meal of chicken. And just, you can only handle so much, right?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, it definitely takes its toll for sure if you don't take care of the problem. So anybody that has a lot of digestive issues, I mean, obviously I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you advice. I always tell people, before taking any of the supplements, please advise from your doctor and just make sure it doesn't interact with anything that you're taking, because it does thin your blood out, because like I said, it does go in there and clean your blood. But when and that also relates back to a lot of acid reflux. You see a ton of people having acid reflux, and then they'll take the different pharmaceuticals over the counter, which you don't want to stop your digestion. You want it to continue, because what happens is when you stop your digestion in your intestines, it just, the food sits there and rots, especially if you've eaten, a lot of proteins and of meat and things. What that does, it leaks out. It can cause leaky gut, can cause diverticulitis, because with anything rotting in there, obviously that's not good. And it comes out in your system and can cause even pneumonia and things like that. So it's kind of interesting to find out what, not digesting your food does to you.
What is keeping us from not digesting our food though? Just not having the enzymes.
Correct. Yeah, because
Okay.
A lot of it relates back to your heredity, like what your your grandparents and your parents, if they were lactose intolerant, you're probably going to be lactose intolerant because of the enzyme lactase, things like that. A lot of things relate back to your heredity, and it just keeps getting depleted unless we take charge. And the more you eat of something, the less enzymes you are going to have of that, and it just keeps depleting and things like that. So I want to actually show you this demonstration with this pudding right now, to kind of just give you an example of how our body needs to break down cooked and processed food. Because like I said, anything above 118 degrees cooked is dead, even if it's a vegetable. So that kills all the enzymes. So this is just a pack of pudding, and it's going to kind of simulate the processed and cooked food that we consume usually on a daily basis, and kind of show you how it just, it goes into our system. So this is just a regular pack of pudding. So if you can see me, and it's just kind of stuck in there. So what I'm going to do is just actually open up one of our capsules here. And sorry, I can't show that portion to you, but I'll show it to you that I opened up the capsule and put it in there. And I'm just going to simulate like the digestion process of our food going through our system. And this is going to help break anything down. It has like a full spectrum of all the digestive enzymes that we need, which are, it'll break down anything that you consume in a Thanksgiving meal. Your fats, your sugars, your proteins, your carbs, gluten. We have a lot of people that are becoming gluten intolerant now, and it's just the inability to break down your food and missing that enzyme. This breaks down super, super fast too. And I'll show you how it's already starting to liquefy. The longer I let it sit there, it's going to turn into basically water, and it works that fast. So we usually have people take them about like right before they eat. There's about a 15-minute window. Sorry, there's pudding everywhere. That it'll digest your system or digest the food that you just consumed. And I mean, I even, sometimes feel full after a big meal, even taking the enzymes, and then I might add some more. One good thing about these that you can never take too many, because it's all plant-based. There's no synthetics. Everything in our supplements are derived from a food source, which is incredible. And that's about only 10% of the supplements out there are. We're part of a GRAS certification process. That is very hard to, be involved with. And so we take, very high pride with our supplements and what goes in them.
What is the enzyme? How equal is that enzyme to something like metformin, which for people that don't know, metformin is the product that diabetics take that aren't needing shots, but they would take the metformin to basically digest the food? Or is that different? That's different.
Well, I'm not really aware of that. That's obviously from a pharmaceutical company?
Yeah, metformin is basically the pill that a diabetic would take to help digest and process the food, which breaks down into the sugar into the body. Because what you're saying is that food not digested creates sugar balls that sit around and create holes in the gut.
Yeah, that actually clogs up and raises your insulin levels and things like that, and does end up causing different things, different havoc things in your system. So ours are derived from plants, and there are a bunch of different enzymes out there. Some of them are derived from animals, and me personally, I like to go back to nature, and what God made is perfect in that form, and kind of stick to that. Which, with animal pancreas enzymes, they're coming from an animal's pancreas, and that just doesn't seem like it has everything, because like my pancreas doesn't have everything, all the different enzymes in it to break it down. So I wouldn't want to rely. It's better than nothing, but it's, I just prefer to go to plants.
So so there's all these products out there. And of course, even the doctors and even experts that say one thing, you will hear the opposite of someone else. But what about the label reading, as far as what should someone look for if they're trying to decide between one product or another? Look for no synthetics.
Well, I would try to go to one that's been referred to you, because there's so many out there. You go into any of these supplement stores, and they're just packed on the walls. But I would look for anything that's derived from a food source. So if you can't pronounce the name, I mean, I've looked up a lot of different things. You know, when people ask me, well, how is this? You know, does this digest in my system or break down foods and things like that, and supplement my nutrients. I'll look it up, and more times than not, there it's a synthetic. You can tell by the price, because obviously food and whole food, organic food is more expensive than, you know, your supplements at Walmart or CVS or things like that. So we just try to make you aware of that. Things need to be derived from a food source, like our vitamin C is derived from black currant fruit or acerola cherries, things like that. So that's one thing. And then all of our supplements also have everything, or all the enzymes in them to break it down. And they're also chelated minerals, which is very important. Because if your body doesn't need something that you're consuming in the vitamin, then it'll just get rid of it. You won't absorb it and have too much of it. So that's very important, along with stabilized probiotics, because a lot of people out there are, you know, going to the cold probiotics, which then again, it's better than nothing. But what happens when, you know, it's something that's kept cold, your body is 98 degrees, you consume it, it doesn't go all the way through your digestive system. It only goes part of the way, because it dies. The stabilized probiotics will go all the way through your digestive system and go into your gut and actually help.
Okay, so the difference between the cold and what you're talking about is the cold is you're buying the liquid in a bottle, keeping it in the refrigerator, or are you just talking about like yogurt?
Both, actually.
Okay.
So anything that's kept cold as a probiotic, it dies immediately when it hits your body
So
temperature.
even Fage, because like, you know how there's these like brands that are like, this is the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want something stabilized.
I mean, I do know that, you know, only a small percentage. Actually, I was told, I don't know if this is true, the percentage, but that literally like almost 90% of any pill that we take is not absorbed. So for
Yeah,
that
because
reason,
90%.
are most of yours pills, and what makes them more absorbable?
Well, about 90% of the supplements out there are synthetic, so they're unable to be absorbed by our body, because it doesn't recognize it as a food source, and that's what, you know, our bodies were made to do. And so the difference with ours, and ours are all capsules, they're veggie capsules. A lot of times people have problems even taking capsules, but you can even open them up. Our digestive enzymes, put them in some water, drink the
Okay.
water. You know, different things. People have gotten really creative with how they take the different supplements and stuff. But as long as they you know, get in your system and stuff, then they will definitely help.
So enzymes for sure, if anyone's having like any number of like 30 to 40 issues with their stomach. So tell me about your collagen, because I've heard some like pretty amazing things about people taking, and that's one thing that I wasn't, there's no way you can overdose on collagen, because I did. I mean, I tried to take so much because skin elasticity, hair, skin, nails, joints, cartilage. And so why is yours so amazing?
Like our collagen was like reviewed and just studied and everything for the like 25 years. And it also has a patent on the hydrolyzation process, which and that's how it's absorbed. A lot of the powders out there, I was reading that it's not really great to have it go through your digestive tract. It needs to be absorbed immediately. With ours, it's 1 tablespoon in the morning, 1 tablespoon at night, and it also has a ton of antioxidants in it. It's type 1 collagen, which 90% of our body is made of. A lot of the collagens out there don't tell you exactly what type they are and the percentage of the types, because there's 23 different types of collagen, and collagen is what our body is, you know, connected with. It's all the connective tissue. It helps everything. I've started
Yeah.
using it back in December, and I mean, I'm like relating it back to the Fountain of Youth. I just can't believe how much my skin has changed. My hair, I've always had pretty decent hair, but I've even been getting compliments on that. And I was like, what's going on? And that was probably about after 3 months of use. And then the enzymes have always just helped my nails, but now the collagen is like making them just that much stronger. And it's just, it's unbelievable what it's been doing for sleep and just all over body health. It's crazy.
That's awesome because more than just the outward appearance, what it does make a huge difference on that is you're still going to the gym, you're still working out, we're still getting a little bit older. So it's like the joints, the health of our joints. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I started really doing it. But I was doing powder. And so yours, you said 1 tablespoon, so it's a liquid.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. And so then the other thing is, and I know that there's a lot of products that you guys have, but the brain. And I know we're just regarding in general, like I always say that movie Limitless is my favorite because I would totally be the person to take that red pill if I could use all of my brain. And so I'm always looking for stuff that makes me have more clarity, more focus, remember better. And so what do you guys have for that?
We have a supplement called Vibe, and it has all the B vitamins in it. It's for mental clarity, focus. It has a tiny bit of green tea extract in it for the energy. We're trying to get people off of those horrible energy drinks and then off, hopefully off of their daily coffee intake too. But it really helps with just it's a mood enhancer. I call it my happy pill. Within about 20 minutes you just kind of feel uplifted. Everything just feels so much more clearer, brighter. You can concentrate more. It has lion's mane mushroom in it, which is amazing for the connective tissue from your brainstem to your spinal cord. It helps with a lot of different like concentration things. A lot of the different mental things that are out there, it can help with that as well. But obviously, again, check with your doctor with these things. You can get a little bit of a niacin rush from it. We do have niacin in it that you want to be aware of, and that just means that it's going to bring your blood to the surface, dilate your blood vessels, things like that. So you can turn red and blotchy for about 15 minutes, but after that, you feel great.
Does St. John's wort, does it have that in it? Because that actually makes me think of like if I take a St. John's wort, it's supposed to be like, yeah, mood enhancer. If I've ever taken one of those, they do feel like a kind of a rush to the face. So that's the niacin.
Oh, then that's the niacin, not the St. John's wort. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Lion's mane. I will say, like, my dad is a natural. He orders stuff off this one particular website. He's like lives and dies by, and he talks about lion's mane, and that is in something. So your product has that, and is that liquid?
No, that's a capsule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tony says the off the grid experience. What are you talking about? And he explained that. Let me see if anyone else has any questions. Tony Stout, yeah, he's basically asking any particular brands and products do you recommend to be able to avoid all the research on vitamins and other supplements? Yes, I know it is ridiculous. You go out there, you think even if you search Amazon, you're going to get all the proper reviews, and it basically just confuses you more. So I like all the background. Yeah. So to answer the other Tony's question, yes. So I'm gonna drop a link to the products that you're talking about, which there's more of them. But if anyone's interested and they watch this on the replay or they watch it now, I'll drop a link to the enzymes, the what'd you say, the Vibe. But basically, it'll go to any of the products and they can look at it, or they can email you and ask questions or inquire.
Yeah. Another one of our great products too is the proteolytic enzymes. And I call that enzymes on steroids just because it helps to remove debris and inflammation from a lot of different injuries, old injuries, breaks down scar tissue, things like that. We've seen a lot of people that have had injuries or surgeries or things, and they take it, and it speeds up the healing. Because what happens with and we do have these in our system as well, but if you're having depleted digestive system of the enzymes and stuff, then the proteolytic enzymes will be pulled from that injury and go up to help digest the food, and then they'll go back down to the injury and start repairing it again. And say somebody's snacking off and on or eating every couple hours, the proteolytic enzymes are going back and forth and back and forth, so that can actually delay the progress of having it being able to heal faster. So the importance of taking digestive enzymes and proteolytic enzymes with an injury it'll double or speed up the time of the healing and everything, and really help with pain as well.
Well, when you say injury, what are you speaking about?
Anything that you've had a surgery on, or a sprained ankle. We've had some hand injuries. I had a couple friends of mine have Achilles tendon tears. I put them on them, and both doctors that they went to, two different people, said they were 2 weeks ahead of healing time. It was incredible.
So, I mean, that's one of the differences, because I think people think just stomach enzymes when you're talking about enzymes, but really you're talking about, there's all these different kinds. And
yeah, the body has a ton of different enzymes that we don't even know about.
Okay. So, for brain, for stomach, for there's so many things, but if you were to recommend, what is your staple, it really depends on what someone's having, but, I would say I do know a lot of people that have diverticulitis or something-itis and something with the stomach not digesting food. So, aside from eating foods that repair, which of your products repair? Or, I mean, most of them are repairing. The enzymes are repairing.
Well, let me go back to when you mentioned itis. A lot of people don't know that itis means inflammation. So when we have a bunch of inflammation on our bodies, that is always usually traced back to some disease. So or it causes a disease. So if we can get rid of the inflammation in our bodies, a lot of the diseases will stay at bay, or not rear their ugly heads. So it's really important to have a healthy diet. Of course, that's where we want to start, and with eating more raw foods. There's a lot of different foods out there that cause inflammation. A lot of the whites are carbohydrates and sugars and stuff like that. So when people are having a lot of these flare-ups and problems, then we try to tell them to go back and look at their diet and reevaluate their diet. We don't claim that any of these cure or will heal things, but we have seen a lot of people with testimonials that have used them for certain things and have seen just overall better health, better digestion, pain going away, things like that. So and then again, always check with your doctor with things like that you're trying to supplement for to heal.
So, in part of what you guys have is CBD, or is all products have some of that in it? That's separate. Separate is CBD.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's different and unique about your CBD?
So our CBD has 2 patents on the extraction process. We don't extract with any harsh chemicals such as CO2, butane, ethanol, type things like that. It is actually a fluid and not an oil. It comes out of the plant as a fluid. The reason why it's an oil is because other companies have added like MCT oil, coconut oil, different things to it. They've also added a lot of like different flavorings and artificial flavorings. So again, we're trying to go back to plant-based and no synthetics and things like that, and so your body reacts to it a lot better. The absorption rate with ours is up to 90%, where it being an oil, it can only be absorbed about 6 to 10%, because our bodies are mostly made up of water. So oil and water don't mix, as we all know, and that is usually absorbed orally. You can also take it topically, putting it on, different ailments that you have. I use it for my headaches. I'll put it on my temples. I've just started putting it on my skin, and it's completely changed my complexion. People put it on their burns, cold sores. Like there's just bug bites. There's such an array of things that you can put it on, and with it not being an oil, it's absorbed, and it can kick in to, with all the medicinal benefits that we're seeing happen from CBD. And a lot of people don't know, and it was not in any of my health books and stuff when I went to school, is that we have an endocannabinoid system. And our bodies are actually trying to make CBD right now as we speak. And that is why we're seeing so many medicinal benefits, is because our endocannabinoid system is starved. And, it's just like any other system that we have in our bodies, our immune system, our endocrine system. So when you feed the body the CBD, then it actually helps everything in your body, all the other systems, regulate and, go together and to their full potential. So it can.
So I'm literally hearing and reading how much CBD is being put in everything. Why are we all of a sudden, and this probably isn't for you, but why are we all of a sudden depleted in creating the right amount of CBD? Because of the diet? Like this whole thing is just like all the same?
Well, we used to get CBD in our food, but because of all the, the laws and everything making it illegal, then we're depleted from it because we can't consume it anymore. So that's why we're so depleted, is because it's not in our food. And
Well, so like,
our,
what's an example of a food that it's not in now? Or the regular food we normally eat, but it's just not in it?
well, cows and different animals that grass fed and things like that, usually were consuming it, I'm assuming, way back when, and then when we'd eat the meat, things like that. So this was discovered back in the 1970s, that we have the endocannabinoid system from the
Because
Israeli
it is
scientists.
literally showing up in everything. Like this market of CBD is touted to be increasing by over 700% in the next few years. So that's why I just thought it was kind of crazy that they're putting it in everything. So, but there's a difference between the CBD being added into all these different ingredients. If anyone listens to this and watches it and they see that, yeah, it's going in food, it possibly is going to go in drinks, it's going in, that's not the same as the THC in the CBD.
Correct. Yeah. CBD and ours does have a trace amount of the THC in it because it needs to. We don't touch it when it comes out of the plant. We take it straight out of the or out of the plant directly into the bottle. We don't add anything. We don't take anything out. We don't isolate anything, because again, God made the plant perfect. So why change perfection? And it gives us all the different nutrients and or phytocannabinoids and cannabinoids of full spectrum that we need for our bodies, our CBD receptors throughout our body, to be able to absorb it and fill those receptors up. So
what do you take?
I take
so what are the things you take? Because I'm listening to everything you're saying and I'm saying, okay, the vibe, which is brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then there's enzymes for stomach because you want to break down your food as you're eating them, and
Yes.
Collagen, in my opinion, for me, and I think any woman probably needs that because we lose hair, we lose whatever elasticity, everything, our ligaments, and then so what else? What else do you take of the stuff on a regular basis?
I take all of it. I've not added. We usually, when somebody asks me, well, what should I take? So I listen to what's going on in their system, and obviously tell them to check with their doctor and things like that. But We usually start them out with like one or two different supplements, but because, like I said, everything starts in the gut. So our one of our staple products is the Life enzymes, because that can stop a lot of different things from continuing to happen, and because you are breaking down your food. But and then our multivitamin, which is Balance, it has all the different nutrients in it, and to that we're not getting from our food anymore, and that actually helps the Life enzymes work 10 times better, because we're getting more nutrients and things out of our food and being able to break everything down. And then, if I need a pick me up, or to focus on things, then I take the Vibe. I take that on a daily basis because we do always need brain food. And then the Restore, which is the proteolytic enzymes, that's a huge one for me as well, because of all the injuries that I've had in the past from sports and things. And then
Okay.
to keep the inflammation back and healing. And then I take the collagen because it's my fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And
And
the CBD,
so I could
that's
stop
one of the
doing
things.
all these physical things that I do and just start taking these, like going into the cryo tanks. That's basically sounding the same as the proteolytic enzyme that's going back and forth to all the injuries, right? Because that's like
Mhm.
what cryo does. You get in there and it's just like you feel really cold in the area that you might have something that needs repairing.
Yeah.
Um, and bone density. I was doing the bone density for a while, which is OsteoStrong. So, anyways, really interesting. So, I know that people will probably have more questions, and if they do, I'll drop a email. Put your email, the link, and they can kind of read, maybe go back and forth. And um, I really appreciate you explaining everything, and I'm definitely going to be ordering some of the products. And of course, like always, I order the products and then I try them, and then in 30 days, I do a live. So I'll be able
No,
to
for
show.
sure. Yeah.
So anything
I
else you
would
want?
like to, yeah, I would like to add a couple more things, because I didn't completely touch on this, and I know there's going to be a lot of questions of, I did say there was a trace amount of the THC in the CBD. And with that being said, that has to be in there to open up everything. People always ask, are you going to test positive for THC because of my job and things like that? So our answer to that basically is we've learned to never say never, because I don't know what else you're consuming on the side other than our CBD. But since we've been doing different drug tests, and I even had my mom do one, things like that, since December, since the Farm Bill has passed, we've not had anybody come up positive with our drug test. But then again, you personally have to feel comfortable with doing so and make that decision on your own.
Yeah.
And then our drops are only 2 drops per dose, opposed to like 6 to 12 of the other. So it's completely straight CBD. There's nothing else, no fillers or anything in it. So
And that's so concentrated because it's the water soluble.
correct. Yeah, it is water
Okay.
soluble.
Yeah, that is
Hmm.
not a lot. I mean, 2 drops. Okay.
No,
And
and
just for people who might be thinking this, because of course I would think that you cannot take too much, right? Like, what happens if you just take more than 2 drops?
So everybody's different. We kind of say listen to your body on your dosage. The recommended dosage is 2 drops twice a day as a preventative. People that are going through different ailments and things, obviously they'll need a little bit more, but you kind of got to listen to your body. There's a thing called the bell curve, and what that is it helps. There's a curve of telling you when too much is and when there's not enough. With ours, if you take too much, you're just going to basically waste money. But with some of the other CBDs going over the bell curve, nobody knows exactly what the right dosage is, because everybody's body is different. Everybody's endocannabinoid system is different. So, but if they go over that bell curve, they could lose the whole medicinal benefits of what they just took. And their price per dose is anywhere from $6 to $12, because you're using about 15 to 30 drops opposed to our 2 drops. So, and that equates out to about $2 a dose. So there's quite a bit of difference, but yeah, there's everybody's body is different of what they should what they kind of relate back to how their body feels with what they should take.
Okay. So if someone's looking for hormone balance, that would be like the CBD.
Hormone balance is usually being able to break down your foods, the collagen, also the multivitamin balance. But yeah, CBD added in there, it helps all your different systems go together. So all of our products are formulated to work amazing together. So
Tony is, doctors' patented responses are often, they can't give advice because they're not experts on the multitude of products on the market. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically just sharing. I like the way you've explained everything, and I like the demonstration with the pudding because that's basically what food is doing sitting in our stomachs, and that's interesting. I actually never tried any of the probiotic or enzymes that I've ever taken aside from like as to try that experiment, but that's interesting.
yeah.
So
Yeah, usually your bloating goes away, you have more energy because you get more energy from your food. It just has so many different amazing side effects. Flat stomachs, a lot of people have dropped weight because, they're able to go to the bathroom. That's another thing is constipation is huge. It's just flaring up and causing a lot of people to have, rectal cancer, colon cancer, things like that because of the food just sitting in our stomachs and not being able to be digested and removed.
I mean, this might gross people out, but I don't think people realize how much food and waste is backed up in our bodies at all times.
Yeah.
So
your intestines can hold about 15 pounds of fecal matter. I mean, that's what, John Wayne died from colon cancer, and he was rumored to have about, 13 to 15 pounds of fecal matter. I mean, so if he wasn't able to go to the bathroom, then that's why he probably got colon cancer, I would assume.
I mean, my solution food wise, not supplement wise, is constantly eating asparagus. But so just to recap then, what is the product that will remove all that?
It's the life digestive enzymes with the probiotics.
The enzymes. So basically, everyone needs to get the enzymes.
You'll feel a lot better.
And the multivitamin and the collagen and the probiotics. So all right, that's huge. So I'm gonna recommend that to a couple people.
Great.
Well, does anyone that's watching still have any questions? Let me look back through here. Mike Berry, Jeffrey, Cruz Garage, Chris Anderson, Jose, Ashraf. People are thanking for the information. Excellent information. Great topic. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions afterward, you can drop a comment here and Tessa will check out. I am tagging her on her page. And so any comments that are dropped below, then you can just kind of comment, or if they want to email, they can go back and forth.
Yeah.
So
great.
Well, I mean, thank you so much. I'm probably going to have you on again. Laura says thank you. And yeah, something, other topics come up, we like dive deeper into maybe, an ailment or an experience that someone's had using one of the products, or just, I don't know, other health and wealth topics. So.
No, that would be wonderful. I greatly appreciate you having me. This has been awesome. I love to educate people.
Love health topics because there's just so much out there. So, all right. Well, we'll talk soon, and I'll make sure I put the links in right when we finish.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Cheryl. Have a great day.
Thanks. All right. Bye.